Talking animals is not an uncommon thing in animation. Whether they are magic creatures or humans that got changed into animals, we usually get a pretty good explanation of why they can talk. Or it's just accepted that they talk and everybody just kind of moves on. But luckily, if you pay enough attention in Family Guy and its surrounding media, we actually do get a pretty solid explanation of how the talking animals actually come into existence. And in this video, I'm going to try and explain Family Guy's talking animals. First thing, I'm going to go through all the different kinds of intelligent animals we see in the Family Guy universe. So the first one we have are the regular non-intelligent animals, and these are just the regular animals. They can't talk and are only as intelligent as they were ever going to be as animals. However, two regular animals can have an offspring that can fall into any one of these other categories if the genetics are there, and it can actually go the other way too, with two intelligent animals having just a regular animal. Sort of a genetic roll of the dice, if you will. The second classification is the intelligent regular animals, and these are animals that are shown to be smart but can't speak to humans directly. They still look and act like regular animals but are definitely more intelligent. Also, on a quick tangent, these animals may not be able to speak to adults, but it is implied that babies like Maggie and Stewie can actually understand them. After that, we have the talking but regular animals, and these are animals that can talk and are intelligent but aren't anthropomorphized in any way. And by that I mean they still act entirely like animals, they just can talk. But then we have the anthropomorphized animals, and these are animals that look more animal than human, walk on two legs, can use paws or wings or hooves like hands. They can talk and are very intelligent. They are pretty much equal to humans in society, but they can and will have animalistic tendencies and act on them. A quick side note here though, the CIA experiments can give animals' bodies human characteristics, and we're going to get into that a little bit further down in the video, but those characteristics can actually get passed down, just kind of depends on the genetics. So after that we have the animal-human hybrids. So now there are two different kinds of hybrids we see in the universe. Some are half human, half animals. Think more like the merman that saves Lois, but some can look completely human and you would never know one of their parents was an animal. Like Brian's son Dylan, his dad is a dog, his mom is a woman, but he looks obviously just like a regular human. Now, we only have one confirmed way talking animals came into existence in Family Guy, and that is when Dr. Hartman tells us that he created the giant chicken in an experiment in season 9, episode 8, No Kidney in Town. He also probably created the giant chicken's family because he has one, and for those of you who don't know, his name is actually Ernie. Ernie's the giant chicken. But I don't think that that one example is good enough to actually explain every animal we see in Family Guy. But don't worry, I do actually have a theory as to how this came to be. Looking into the wider Family Guy universe, we get a much broader explanation. And in American Dad, we find out from Klaus, CIA used a machine to transport his consciousness into a goldfish body that he currently is in. And we find that out in season 8, episode 9, The Flippity Flop. It's implied that they were at least at some point using this technology a lot, either to change the outcome of the Olympics like Klaus, or to make a new agent like Reginald, but they really don't use it anymore that we know of, since Stan implies the machine isn't being used when Klaus tries to trick him into getting a human body. He does eventually succeed in this in later seasons, showing that it does actually still work. But now we have a bunch of animals with the minds of humans running around that the CIA created. Since the CIA was founded in 1847, there was a lot of time for these particular animals to spread out into the local animal population and begin to breed with them. And I know what you guys are thinking, and I just want to remind you that Brian both dates and sleeps with human women all the time, so this isn't actually unheard of within the universe. But then the intelligence from the animals with the human consciousness would be passed down to their offspring. With each generation, the genetics would be there, probably going from being very dormant at first, then getting more diluted over time, but then expressing itself in all kinds of different ways, as I described at the beginning of the video. And we have definitely seen that human intelligence is in fact something that can be cast down genetically through all of the different shows. But then the animals would start to spread out from around Langley Falls, Virginia, and wherever the CIA had used the machine, probably relatively slowly at first, which is why the further you are from the state you go, the less likely you are to see and find these animals. Like in King of the Hill, Bob's Burgers, or The Simpsons, where animals don't really talk, but they can be shown to be actually intelligent. This slow spread would also explain why intelligent animals, and especially talking animals that people could understand, weren't all that common in the earlier seasons, and even the ones that could talk were still treated like regular animals. But as the series progressed, they pretty much become fully fledged members of the society and start showing up more frequently in the series, to where it seems like there aren't any more normal animals left. It also explains why animals in some places seem to be a lot farther along with equality than in others. And a good example of this is actually Tim the bear from the Cleveland show. Tim and his family are very clearly bears. They even keep some of the same mannerisms, but Tim has a job, and his son, Raymond, even goes to school. They're pretty much treated like humans. This might be because he lives in Stoolbend, which is in Virginia, and thus talking animals have been around longer and are more expected in society. Whereas in a place like Quahog, animals are still being treated like pets and are just now being accepted as normal because Rhode Island is actually farther away. Like I said before, Brian is actually a good example of this. When the series started, he was just a smart pet. But now he can drive, holds multiple jobs, and like I pointed out previously, he even dates and marries human women, even having a son with one of them. But the best part about this is we actually don't even have to stop in modern day. We can actually look 1,000 years into the future thanks to Futurama. So in Futurama, we meet Dr. Banjo. He's a fully sentient orangutan, and they even take it a step further, where there is an entire world of sentient apes, most likely future descendants of the animals we are seeing in Family Guy. There's also an entire city of mermaids in Season 2, Episode 2, The Deep South. So now we're given an explanation about how they became mermaids, that being the caffeine from a soda factory really sped up the process of them changing. But it could have also just been a resurfacing of genes from them breeding with intelligent fish back in the day. But we don't even have to stop there to give us another example, because we see that penguins are still intelligent, however they can't speak when they wage war against humans, thanks to Bender in Season 3, Episode 3, The Bird Bot of Icecatraz, and even the possible descendants of the giant chicken, who has become a lawyer, now a bad lawyer mind you, but still a lawyer. So it looks like the spread did manage to go global, with the intelligent regular animals being the more dominant expression. Although it would appear that the talking but regular animals was the expression of the genes that made the most impact, and this adds up since it was the most advanced expression as far back as 1998 in the Family Guy pilot. And then Dr. Hartman's little experiments are still just kind of floating around. There you have it. Pretty much everything we know about talking animals in the Family Guy universe, plus my little theory as to how it all connects in the broader universe. But let me know what you think. Am I completely wrong in this theory? Did I miss anything that might disprove this theory? Or, did I miss anything that might help it along as well? If you guys know, please let me know in the comments down below. And while you're down there, guys, please remember to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, turn on that notification bell so you never miss another video from me, and I will see you guys in the next video.